A superb new ball spell from Steve McGoffin put Sussex into a dominant position going into the final day of their important LV County Championship encounter with Durham in Arundel. There was nothing to choose between the two teams at the start of day 3, with Sussex resuming on 100 for 3 in reply to Durham's 231. It took Durham half an hour to break a developing stand between Michael Yardy and Murray Goodwin, with the latter choosing the wrong ball from Chris Rushworth to leave alone and going LBW for 18. Luke Wright came and went quickly, edging a drive off Ben Stokes to Paul Collingwood. That left Sussex on 119 for 5, 112 runs behind, but they began to close in on Durham's first innings total thanks to Yardy and Ben Brown. Yardy, who began the day on 29, reached a valuable half-century off 132 deliveries. He now needed to do what no one else had done in this match thus far and go on from here. His was now a very important knock if his side were going to get a first innings lead. He continued to work the ball around well, picking off the boundaries when given the opportunity to do so. He needed some support, of course, and he found that in the form of Brown, who played delightfully in the morning. The pitch was drying out and it became a little unpredictable in its bounce, and so batting was never a particularly easy occupation. Every run scored was needed, as Sussex did not want to be chasing too many batting last on this surface. Yardy had a life in the morning session, a tough one at short leg, which was spilled by Will Smith. But shortly after lunch, the Sussex skipper was out, hit right in front of his stumps by Collingwood after making a steady 66. Brown too should have gone soon afterwards, but first and second slips got in each other's way, and the batsman instead profited to the tune of 4 runs. That helped Brown reach an excellent 50, getting there with his 7th 4 off his 83rd delivery. With him still at the crease, Sussex looked good for a decent first innings advantage. But with the total on 221 and only 10 runs behind, they dramatically lost 3 wickets without adding a single run. Kirk Verners was leg before to Callum Thorpe for 10. McGoffin went in the same manner to the very next ball from the seamer. And then Brown on 51 lost his off peg to Rushworth. Sussex now trailed by 10 with only 1 wicket left. It was left to Monty Panesar to quickly bring the scores level with a couple of 4s off Rushworth, who then exacted his revenge by having the spinner caught off a mistimed pull. Sussex were all out for 231, meaning that there was not a run to choose between the two teams. But within a short space of time, Sussex had taken complete control, thanks to McGoffin, who began his spell by trapping Mark Stoneman in front to a ball he left alone. The big Aussie then followed that up with yet another leg before decision in his next over. Gordon Mutchell the man to go on this occasion. It was 3 for McGoffin inside 5 overs when Stokes turned a ball straight to right at mid-wicket. James Anyon then got in on the act by having Smith taken in the slips, while McGoffin struck with the very next ball by finding the edge of Dale Benkenstein's bat to leave Durham reeling on 29 for 5. That became 38 for 6 when Phil Mustard top-edged Verner's first ball and was caught by Chris Nash. Wickets were tumbling like clowns, hardly what the new Durham skipper Collingwood would have been hoping for. It was now up to him to somehow dig his side out of a rather big mess. He took a couple of 4s off a tiring McGoffin, whose 10-over spell brought him figures of 4 for 14. Wright replaced him and soon had Scott Borthwick taken behind, and now the visitors to this lovely ground in Arundel were on 62 for 7. Fewer than 4 more overs were possible before the rains arrived, but thankfully for the First Division strugglers, there were no more losses as Collingwood and Thorpe battled through the remaining deliveries. Durham were probably relieved to lose the last hour of the day, but they have much to do from here to avoid a 5th defeat of the summer. News of relegation rivals Worcestershire's win in Manchester won't have helped either. Durham will go again with Collingwood on 29, on 80 for 7, 80 runs ahead of course.